This was my biggest opportunity on a horse that was everyone's favourite. Just ride for your life because it isn't going to happen again.
No grey had ever won the Gold Cup, but this was no ordinary grey.
He came from a very modest background. You know, his pedigree basically said that he should have been pretty useless. So he rather came from rags to riches. We were on a roll, luckily, he and myself, in the fact that I'd ridden him up to Len 8 times and we'd won 8 races on the bounce. And being so popular with the public was very much the hot favourite.
He now belongs to almost all of us. He was backed accordingly. He started favourite at 5-2.
But the only downside was Cheltenham and the Cheltenham factor of going left-handed. Right-handed track, whether it be an Ascot or Sandown, I think it was a penalty kick each time. Historically, we knew the facts and the stats, and so that was a big test, big unknown question. The forecast, as far as I knew, was for there to be a little bit of rain. Woke up at about 5 o'clock, poked my head out the window and saw about 4 or 5 inches of snow sitting outside. Richard Burridge was rather running around, slightly headless.
His owner, Richard Burridge, was inclined to withdraw. Eventually, he got the go-ahead after the owner had talked with David Ellsworth.
I got a little bit of normality from David Ellsworth, who just said, "We're here, regardless of the ground, we run." And yeah, we decided we were going to go. You're on edge. You know the rides you've got that day. You want to get, obviously, to the big races, and you get into changing rooms, you have the nervous chats, and you talk to all the other jocks about what they've been up to the night before, and you just start to, mentally, in your mind, you start thinking about, how are you going to execute this race. You're actually feeling pretty numb inside you, really. I don't say physically sick, but you certainly feel, in a little bit of a cocoon.
And to a great roar from the crowd, they raced to the first of the 22 fences.
I suppose as we went out for the second circuit, going down to the water jump and then the ditch afterwards, they started to take us on big time and they were beginning to pan out outside us. And it was that stage I knew I had to get a couple of really good jumps just to maintain our position.
10 Plus has taken a 3-length advantage from Desert Orchid. Charter Party, the former winner, is third. Beautiful jump by Desert Orchid, takes him within a length of 10 Plus.
I could never honestly say, was there ever a moment when I really did think we were going to win it.
It's Desert Orchid now as they race to the home turn from Yahoo, chasing him all the time and trying to get up on the inside.
For a second I thought, right, we've got this now, and then suddenly Yahoo appeared. From thinking, right, we've got this, to suddenly thinking, crikey, this horse is just cantering alongside us.
And Desert Orchid looks as though he's tiring in the ground. Yahoo, who loves the mud, is full of running at the second last.
Even if your legs are burning or your brain is buzzing, just focus on keeping momentum, keeping the horse going, and just ride for your life because it isn't going to happen again.
Yahoo jumps from Desert Orchid, but Desert Orchid is running. He's trying to come again towards the near side.
About 50 yards from the last, and the horse just changed his legs. We got a little bit of momentum.
Desert Orchid towards the near side. Desert Orchid's accelerating as they come to the last.
As we jumped the last, I thought, right, we've got one chance here. I just remember as I landed, thinking, right, give 110% because you're never going to be in this position again.
Drifting over towards the stand side, he's beginning to get up. Desert Orchid is beginning to get up as they race towards the line. There's a tremendous cheer from the crowd.
It's a special hill, and it's just something which any jockey just can't sort of put into words, and just hearing the crowd was just awesome.
Simon Sherwood punches the air. Desi has done it.
When you pull up, you really do go into a little bit of a zone, and it's very much a moment between you and the horse. We just sort of thought, crikey, we've nailed it. And I always maintained it must have been rather like Gary Lineker scoring a hat-trick at Wembley or something. You just turn to the ground, you punch the air, everyone was just going bananas. It was, special.
Just everybody wants to get close to it.
It wasn't till sort of the next day that you then sort of reflect on it more and you read the papers and you suddenly realise later on it's a big deal, much bigger deal than you thought. I think he fell into the hearts and minds of most racing pundits because he was very charismatic, he loved his audience, and I think he was brave and was there from season to season.